Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Website Critiques. I'm just going to start sharing my screen and then we'll jump in. All right. So the first website that we're going to critique, let me just make this bigger for you guys. All right, here's the first one. So we got a newborn and family and maternity photographer here. So the first thing, let me just see something. I got to get rid of this Facebook URL. All right, cool. So the first thing I noticed is that up at the top here in the URL bar, there's this little I that is circled. If I click on it, it says your connection to this site is not fully secure. This has something to do with your SSL certificate. And so Google about a year ago made it mandatory for all sites to have an SSL certificate so that people's info was protected when they enter it onto your website. It looks like you may have one installed, but it may not be installed correctly. And so you would want to reach out to your hosting company and contact them and just figure out what's going on with that. Okay, this is going to be affecting your Google rankings. So when people search for you, they're not going to find you as easily. And on some browsers, if they come to your website, there'll be a huge pop-up window that says, warning, this site is unsecure. So definitely want to make sure that you get that fixed as soon as you can. And then let's check out this page here. So we got some little gallery. Awesome. You have some actual informational type of posts, which I think is key because a lot of people don't know what to expect when it comes to newborn shoots. And if you have an expertise with newborns, then you definitely want to help people in that decision-making process. Not everyone can deal with newborns, and it takes a special skill set and some patience and a lot of techniques and making sure that you don't injure the baby as well. And so I think that these types of things are really instrumental in helping people when they're looking for a newborn photographer. So I think that's great. All right, the one thing that I see missing here is when I land on this page, there's nothing that directly tells me right away that jumps out at me that this is a newborn photography website. Obviously, you have this text here, but it's not that big. And we also don't know what the experience of working with you is going to be like. And so when I do these website critiques, a lot of times I sort of sound like I'm on repeat. And that's because, in my opinion, what has been taught over the past 10 years as far as website positioning, it was good when it first started, but now that the new generations have buying power, like millennials and Gen Z and Gen X, the way that those people consume is different. So we have to adapt to their buying habits. And so when I come here to this site, we have to understand that people only stay on the site for 1 second unless they see something that actually grabs their attention enough to make them click. And so when we land here, also people come to your website for two reasons. What is the experience of working with you going to be like? And why are you different than the thousands of other people that are out there? And how much is this going to cost me? Okay. And so when I land here, remembering that, people are only going to be here for 1 second, and also understanding why they're here, I think we need to tweak some of this stuff that shows up as soon as this page loads. So at the top of your homepage of your website is the most important part of your whole site, because that's what most people see first. And so what I would do is sort of highlight the experience, and maybe it starts with a phone console. Maybe up here with this image here, I'd put some text like over here and say, click here to start your experience. And all that does is scroll them down, because most people don't scroll down. Okay. And then here, maybe it's phone console, and then it's, prepping for your session. And then over here, it's, your actual session. And then maybe down here, it's like the reveal and seeing their images for the first time. And using pictures and text is good, but if you can use video to show what it is, like a behind the scenes type video of the experience of working with you, a session actually happening, showing how you get the baby to go to sleep, all those different things are really, really important. And it gives the potential client that confidence that you know what you're doing. Okay, so I think these two things are really great, and I would continue to encourage you to continue to make more of those because those are definitely impactful. But I would definitely change up this homepage so that I understand more about what it is to work with you specifically, because there's not a ton of information on this page. Okay. Let's see your session info real quick. Can't talk today, apparently. All right, so you have your actual pricing on here, which is great. I think that's an advantage, because when you don't have your pricing on your website, or at least a starting price, you force those people to leave your site and go compare you to other people and their pricing. And then if they do come back to you, they have this unrealistic expectation of what you should be charging based on what they've seen other people charging. In addition to that, I wouldn't just have this on its own page. I would add your pricing to your homepage, because that's one of the reasons why people are coming to your page. All right, let me just check out your blog. I know you had a couple informational type blog posts that were good. Okay, this is cool. Love that. All right, yeah, I think your blog is good. The work is good. I think that just the homepage could use a little bit of tweaking, and then you could be well on your way. All right. And guys, if you have any questions as we're going through this, please feel free to comment with them. And if I don't get to them on this live, then I'll get to them after it's over. And if you want me to critique your website on the next one, go ahead and leave that in the comments, and I'll make sure to get that done next time we do this. Okay. Let's go on to the next site here. So this site, we have a Boudoir Photographer, and this is the homepage here, and there is no scrolling, so it's just a big screen slideshow here. Looks like the work is beautiful, but there's actually no words on this page, and that is really going to hurt you, because Google looks for words, and although it's getting better at identifying what is in pictures, if you haven't added your alt text and your metadata and all that stuff in there, then there's really no words for Google to crawl. So I would definitely change up this page quite a bit to actually highlight again what the experience of working with you is like. Most people have seen your work before they get to your website. They see it on social media or from past clients talking about it. And so when they come here, they're here for what is the experience like. And if you're using this as a splash page, that's fine, but you have to understand that that's going to affect how people actually go through. All right. So I would make, since this is your homepage, I would highlight the experience here. Now I see that you do have an experience and investment page, which is great. And let's check that out real quick. All right, so you kind of highlight the session, you've got what the investment is, and then the form here. All right, so I think this is a good start as far as the experience, but with Boudoir, there's a lot of other nuances that go into play here, right? So the first thing is, no woman wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what, I want to take off all my clothes and go have someone photograph me. It just, like, for the most part, that just never happens. And so women need to see what the experience is going to be like, and they need to hear from past women of yours about what their experience was like. It's also good to put yourself out there. If you are a woman boudoir photographer, having a session done of yourself and then blogging about that experience can be really beneficial. But I think on this page, you really need to do a more thorough job of showing what the experience is like, not just telling them what it's like, because it's one thing for someone to hear about it, but to see it in action is totally different. So if you can use video to do a behind the scenes of a session actually happening, and then a behind the scenes of people seeing their photos for the first time, that's really going to help you. And maybe even have a video testimonials of past clients talking about, you know, what it meant for them, what it did for them when they went through having a session with you. Those are all things that are really, really important, because women need to be able to borrow the confidence of another woman to be able to then move forward and book. Like I said, no one just books, like wakes up and goes, yeah, I want to do a boudoir shoot today, for the most part. Okay. So I would consider moving this experience page, or at least most of it, over to your homepage, and just having a lot more words on your homepage, I think is going to be super beneficial, and really highlighting that experience, and use as much video as you can for that. All right. Let's go to our next one over here. All right, so we have a wedding photographer here. Let's just check out their homepage here. So we have something that says homepage. This is probably something that doesn't need to be here. I would probably have the tag of, like for me, I would put like Philadelphia wedding photographers because that's what we are and that's what we want to rank for. This is probably not helping you at all. Then we have 6 images here, which is definitely beautiful imagery. We have your phone number, a little bit about you, and then you're asking them to book a consultation. Come down here, a little bit more about you. Got some videos. All right, so we have some wedding videos, which is good. You got some reviews. Okay. So what I would say is that this page, it doesn't give me a ton of information similar to the other ones. I think we get a sampling of your work here, which is fine. But there's not really a lot of what is the experience of working with you going to be like. And so I think if you've been listening to the rest of this video, you can kind of take that same advice and start to highlight what it's like to work with you on a wedding day, why you're unique, all of those different things. And then having some actual informational stuff like wedding planning guides, or how to choose if you want to do a first look or not, or top 10 wedding venues around you. Those are all things that are informational that are going to help to position you as the thought leader with your potential clients. And this website, depending on, I'm not sure what you're going for as far as the overall styling and look, but it looks very basic. It doesn't look very high end, and it kind of looks like just a very basic website with some text and some images on it. I think you can do a better job of defining your style with this site here. Okay, let's see what your pricing page looks like. All right, so we got it all listed out here. Awesome. I love that you have some samplings here of your products. I think that's key. You may want to put something about your pricing on your actual homepage, though, too. Doesn't look like you have a blog. I would definitely recommend you get a blog. People have mixed thoughts on blogs, but I can tell you that they still have a lot of power, and it's well worth the investment to sit down maybe one day a month and write out 5 different blog posts just so that you can have some content being published throughout the month. I think that's definitely important. So that's what I would say for you for this site. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, so this is Vincent Images. Jason's actually a good friend of mine, so I can't wait to tear up his website. I'm just kidding. All right, so this is the website. This is how it loads. Obviously, we can't see the image that's at the top here. I'm not sure if that's intentional or if it's just the rendering with my screen size, but it may be something that you want to look into just because we can't see it. Then when we come down here, let's see, we got your 2018 highlight show from your photos, which is cool, and you got some awards there. Let's see, we come down here. Also, we have some couples resources. So we got a wedding planning guide. We have a wedding survival kit. Love that. I think that's essential, especially for weddings, because most people haven't been married before, right? And so when they get engaged, it's like this sudden overwhelm of, oh my God, I have all this planning to do. And so as a wedding photographer that, photographs weddings every weekend, you probably have some insight that you can offer to those potential clients of yours. And so I think this is a great way to do that. And I would encourage any wedding photographer to make sure that you're doing things like this because it's super important. And we got a little about you section here. And then we got some galleries, some more awards. We got some testimonials and a contact page. Very cool. So I think, again, the same types of things, like something's up with this the top of this homepage here. And this is the main spot that people see when they come to your page. So I would definitely get this fixed. And I would also start to actually highlight what the experience of working with you is like. You guys are really fun people. And I think it would be beneficial to actually start highlighting what it's like to work with you I think awards are definitely beneficial, but most clients have never heard of these awards. And so that's not the first thing I should see. I should see this, somewhere at the bottom, where you have the rest of these. But for the most part, no one really cares about this unless you've developed a following of other photographers and you're shooting their weddings. So up here again, I would probably put a video right here that is highlighting you actually working with your clients, maybe during portrait time on a wedding day, showing you like kind of adjusting them, posing them, laughing with them, whatever it may be. But I think that's going to be super important. And then having something about at least your starting cost would be good to have on here as well, if not your full pricing, so that people don't need to go anywhere else to find it. So that's that. Let's see, you got the best wedding venues. Cool, I love this. Guys, if you're a wedding photographer, this is a really great thing that you can do. Most people are going to find their wedding venue before they find you, right? They need to book that. They need to have their date so that they can tell you when they need you to actually show up. And so when you blog about the top wedding venues that are out there, your blog post is going to start to rank with those wedding venues, and then people are going to find you through that blog post, which is great. And you can even use the blog post to run traffic to with Facebook ads or Instagram ads. All of that is a super awesome idea. And what he did here was the top 20 wedding venues in Northwest Arkansas. And then each one of these you can click on to go and see more information about it. So he's got the overview of all of them, and then each one you can read more about. So he's helping himself position on an SEO level organically with this, which is probably is super beneficial for him. Okay, and let's go over to the investment page. I'm telling you, this thing at the top here is so weird. I would definitely mess with this in some way so that we actually see some type of image instead of the tops of trees and some exploding champagne. All right. So there's no starting price. It's just this is kind of what most of the packages include. So you're making it so that people have to contact you in order to find out if they can work with you or not. That's definitely your own choice, but I would say that at least put a starting package price there so that people can get an idea, because then they can, if they're ready, they'll get in touch with you right away. All right. So that wraps up this week's edition of the Website Critiques. I hope that was beneficial for you guys, and I will talk to you all next week. All right. Enjoy your weekends.